Holito Chama Wingapa, Holisio Hantuk Shata. All right, so I want to talk about the demiurge. The urge to um, attack people who are in peace. And peace just means you're standing on your land. Um, you don't have a dockyard with the cannon in it, because that's the Constitution. That's what it says. Only erect yards and docks, so and forts. So I want to talk about that. I was on Cujo's uh, channel, Canyonland Moors, and we were discussing like the affairs of today. And a guy, his name is Tariq Bey. He brought up the fact that I mentioned yesterday. We had a justice in Michigan. Her name was Judge Holden. I think Judge Bolden. He mentioned that, and he said that. Do I think that is? He said in so many words. Do I think that is a plus? And one thing is this. To me, it is a plus. It may not be to him because he sounded very upset and angered. To me, like, you don't want a cabinet or a chamber full of justices that don't look like you. Just to have one in there who knows like what it means to be dark skinned, because this guy, Tariq Bey, he's very light. So in history, you would think like his people mix with a lot of Albions. So if you have that happening, he would be of the demi class. He wouldn't necessarily be a dark skinned person. He wouldn't be a Moor. But he wears a fez. So when you think about this, right, that's very kafir to say, kafir, because like I've studied Islam through and through, like out and out. Like I know about jizya, paying the tax. I know about making the Hajj. I know about fasting during Ramadan. I know about celebrating the birth of Prophet Muhammad. I know about Islam through and through. I read the Hadiths, so I know how a woman is supposed to conduct herself. Um, I know about Islam, so I'm not coming from a point that we need to wear a red fez. Me, I don't like to wear fezzes as much because I feel like you can make your own regalia and your own ordinances. Like to me, I can just wear a feather in my head because like I rock a fro, so like I can wear I can wear a feather in my head. Like I don't have to wear a fez because a fez wouldn't fit on my head if it's in the form of a tarbush. Um, so like when you see demis attack Moors, because I'm very dark skinned, when you see us get attacked by people who just come into the understanding of what it means to be a Muslim, a Muslim, doesn't speak multiple languages, just speaks broken English, and they're attacking you, you have to let them understand that not only are people who are demis on this land not paying jizya, but they are not reading from their original books. They're reading from a book that is considered well prepared. Because Noble Drew Ali, he prepared a book. He didn't. I don't think he wrote the book word for word. He prepared a book, so it wasn't. It wasn't an original book, so it's not something we should be looking at as. It's not something we should be looking at as like the original teachings written in different languages. Like it's written for people to understand who don't know any better, who speaks broken English. So you look at us today. A lot of us don't know Arabic. A lot of us don't know Portuguese. We don't know Spanish. We don't know Creole. We don't know Algonquin. We don't know any of the languages that come from the Great Lakes, the Great Lakes region. We don't know French. We don't know Dutch. We don't know any language really. The only language that we really know is getting grabbed. We know emotionalism. Um, I'm not one who gets emotional around people. I'm not one who's going to argue with the person about what is right and what is wrong. I feel like both of us are wrong, and I feel like both of us are right. Because it takes two negatives to get a positive. So even when you're right, you're wrong. Okay, so what people have to understand is that if we're going to discuss the classism that we have in America, as far as people being attacked for just stating what is obvious, we have to talk about demis and, our etiquette. Because I feel like if you attack a mufti, that lets me know you're still a demi. You haven't really graduated to the pillars. So like, let's see. Medieval Spain, we're teaching the arts. So right now in this day, we're not teaching our arts really. All we're doing is protesting. So that lets me know that we are still under the black codes because there's black plague. Let's see. So you see these people right here. Berbers, Jews, Asiatics. They eat together, they sleep together, and they feast together. So there's no emotionalism going on. They understand each other's language. They just didn't pop up out the woodworks trying to explain religion or Islam or how it's misinterpreted. That only happens when you integrate with people that you have arguments. So my thing is for this video is that start to learn about Islam in its truest sense and classism, because like the world is not going to be prepared to lead again if Islam is not being taught in its proper respects. Muslims get the rap in blackamoors. I will say blackamoors and Muslim mean the same thing. Blackamoors, they get the bad rap that because there's a guy, his name is not Sarnetta, Sarah Sudanseti, light-skinned guy. He talks about how blackamoors, they attack. I mean, no, they not attack. Why would I say that? He talks about how blackamoors they enslave whites, but he didn't tell the real history. Like he did an entire lecture about how Moors enslaved Europeans. So this guy, he's very light skinned, and like when you look at his lecture, he says all of this without admitting the fact that most of his blood is Germanic. So we accept people who come around us who are light skinned, but no one ever says like, who is your parents? Because like you can have a white person around you, right? And they can have kids with a mixed race person, and their kids will come out looking like him. Like that's what I'm saying. Like we never know who people are. Like we never know who their parents are until they welcome us into their homes. We never know who they are. So like when I see him and he attacks blackamoors, to me it's just one of those things where you have to see to the fact that we are under attack not only by their children, but we're under attack by them. So we have to guard our minds like very well as far as the brandishing and the roguism that's going on in media. because they own they don't own, but they operate the medias. They operate the news wire. They operating the printing press. So we're under attack by them. They're confusing people left and right. This is really what happened. Europeans, they were brought into government. They weren't enslaved. They fell from government. This is where you see them walking around begging for favors. Like, we see that to this day. Like, if you come to Detroit, you will see white things in some parts, like of Southwest. You will see things. They'll just be walking around, perusing, trying to find the next hit. You'll see stuff like that. It's the same thing that happened back then in those days. Only classism and etiquette was more higher. So like there was more bonds to be extinguished. So they fell from government during the Black Plague, right? So we made a treaty with these people, and there's an article on this from a French article that details this in French Morocco. All right, because Morocco's kingdom in Africa, and that protectorate is out of French. So they have to listen to what Macron says, the prime minister over there in Europe, the president. So you sit there and you think to yourself, like, they fell from government and we were supposed to help them get back into government again. Only this time they wanted to get into our government. So when you see the Spanish history and the characters of, a dark-skinned person playing a violin next to a white person, that was a demi-class. And that was a demi-class and also a noble class. One beside the other. Demis had to pay tax. To this day, Chinese pay tax to Black Americans, but Black Americans don't know that. Like, the prime minister, the president, the emperor of China, he accepts he accepts the history for what it is, right? It's more still over there. And like, Chinese and Black people get along. When you look at it from like out of the scope of being biased to like what's happening in the media during current times, like in history, Chinese and Black people got along. Like, Chinese are into hip hop as much as Black people are. All right, so there was never a period of time outside of there being Islam being a rulership of you seeing torture happening between Muslims and slaves. When you have to discipline a person, when you have to teach a person how to act in government, because we fell from government right now, right to the second, we fell in government. When you have to teach people how to be strong in mind, strong in appearance, strong in character, that takes a lot out of you. So like when you listen to Saran Sudanseti's lectures, like he paints the picture that Moors are a bad people. And in fact, they're not. They've only helped bring arts to people around the world who didn't have it. So when you see the admixture that's happened in Portugal, just think of Moors and Europeans mixing with one another in that fashion, just mixing. In fact, I would say Europeans have had a more brutal welcoming to our sins. When you think about like the shootings that's happening in today, like with Laquan McDonald, that shooting that happened. He was walking down the street. He had a pocket knife in his hand. He was going the other direction. The guy was European. He went off and just shot him, right? To me, that's not Islam. That's not Islam. Had that been a force of NOI, they would have used strength and quickness against a person who was walking down the street with a knife in their hand, getting ready to stab somebody. They wouldn't use the gun because, like, the NOI, as much as As much as they talk in their mosque, they're never going out attacking people. They always use self-defense. Cops aren't trained to use self-defense. They're just trained to shoot and deactivate. This is what I'm saying, man. Like, when you put classes together and you put races together, it creates complexity, and it creates confusion. This is why I don't believe in classism. This is why I believe in nationality. This is why I believe in separation. I'm a separatist. I don't believe that, and I'm not saying that apartheid was right or wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm neutral to that. What I'm saying is this: you shouldn't put fair-skinned people around dark-skinned people. We've seen this in 1960 commercials, where you had kids grow up and said, "Oh, I want when they was testing the kids about the dowels and stuff like that." And the kid kept saying, "I want the dowel, the white dowel," and he kept leaving. She kept leaving the dark skinned dowel down, like she didn't want to pick it up. She wanted the fair skinned dowel. You shouldn't put, like, this is what I'm saying, man. Like, Cardinals don't fly with Blue Jays, but they're not far behind. Blue Jays are, as much as Blue Jays are like a carry of their own, they don't all fly together at all times. They are solo. And when you see a solo Blue Jay, you got to know that a solo Cardinal is around. It's around. Because I've seen it with my own eyes. Like, they come into my yard all the time. Cardinals, Blue Jays, they don't fly with vultures. You're never going to see, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see a bunch of finch birds flying together, migrating to like a district over somewhere to like protect themselves from the winds, the currents, whatever slate is headed their way, whatever season is headed their way. They're going to protect themselves, and they're going to do it in a flock. They eat together. Vultures, hawks, they don't all do the same thing at once. You're never going to see them just flying. You're never going to see every species of bird just flying together. This is what they made America. They put us in a pot and made all birds eat at the same time, fly at the same time. They put us in a pot as birds. And as I said, Cardinals and Blue Jays, they don't migrate together. So Islam is a parable. You can find Islam in so many different ways and what it means. Islam, Alam, a lamb. Mary had a lamb. Islam, peace. Mountain region. A lamb over here, a lamb over there, what you see on the screen right now. A mountain, Jabal, great peace. All right, so like, Moors shouldn't be so quick to come at other Moors. Like, I appreciate what Cujo is doing, Cujo L. Like, Cujo been doing this for years. And like, Cujo is a dark-skinned brother, right? So I'm supposed to come to his aid every time there's a problem. This is how I was taught growing up. You come to your brother's aid. You don't leave them stranded. You come to your sister's aid if you're a sister. You don't leave her stranded. So this is what I'm saying, man. This is government. Like, we have to protect each other's facts and opinions. We have to protect them. All right. This is what you call an honest discussion. This is how you build government. All right. So fortunately, we have bases in America, and they hold a lot of information. It's technology on these bases that's being developed every day. All right. So this is why Lloyd Austin has a strong relationship with the prime minister over there in Indonesia, China. We have to have strong relation with Asians, because like, their people is like if you look at the advancement of Japan as an island, as an owl, their technology is so advanced. Like, Japan, I love Japanese people. They're so advanced. When you look at their people and how smart they are, their people really love technology. And like a lot of people kid them because like they're into metrosexualism. I am too. I feel like you don't have to be over hypermasculated. I feel like you need to be in touch with your feminine side, and you need to um, be in touch with the sabir, and sabir just means patient, and that's an Arabic word. Like you have to be in touch with yourself and your chakras. So like you have your crown is your purple chakra. That means you think a lot, you talk a lot. Um, and I know some people may feel like if you talk a lot, you're not wise. But I think if you're to yourself most of the time and you don't speak as much and you take more in than you talk and you listen, I think that is also a way of forming a great mind as far as your empire. Like these people in India, they do this a lot. I be on TikTok sometimes and I see them submerging themselves in mud. This is how you find out about people and what they think and how they see themselves. These practices are old and they still go on to this day. So like we shouldn't be so quick to judge people because I see like a lot of people, they like to judge people. Our people are just, they think they're right all the time, and like we're not always right. All right, we're not always right. We shouldn't be so quick to judge another person's culture because, like, if you go back a eon, your ancestors were doing that, writing books, participating in what is that called, Vitamin, experimenting with certain medicines and testing certain pH balances and stuff like that. Certain ways of healing. We did everything you can do under the sun. So your demi class, it has to be addressed. This is why whenever I contact a senator or a representative, I have to contact them in the sense that I know what I'm talking about. Like if I contact a senator, he's English, and I speak to him about Islam and he doesn't know anything about it, to me, like it hurts because somebody should have told this person about Islam. They should know about hadiths. They should know about the center of the earth and what's in it, the minerals. They should know about the seasons as it follows and how they correlate with the astrology of the sun and the astronomy of the houses. They should know about all this information. Because I'm going to think like if someone voted you in there and you don't know this stuff, they not far from you as far as idiocracy. So I don't want idiocracy around me when people are voting. And when people are having a discussion, like I don't want emotionalism. Like I don't want to be in the center of a discussion where I'm the one that's being attacked because I have hard right or hard center views. Get a book on Islam, read it. I still have my book about Noble Drew Ali and his comprise. I said I wasn't going to open the book until I'm 80 years old, and I still stand by that. All right, so if YouTube is still around when I'm 80, or if they make a dispatch where they're saying, well, we're going to remodel YouTube and its sponsorship, then I'll probably put it out then. Other than that, like I wouldn't do it. I feel like the way we've come, the way we've done things, stuff needs to be preserved. We have to preserve our knowledge. We have to preserve our thoughts. We have to learn different languages. So right now, the last language that I'm going to learn is going to be Arabic. I don't want to learn Spanish. I'm going to be learning Algonquin. I'm going to be learning Muskogee. I'm going to be learning Great Lake. All those languages, I'm going to be learning them. I don't want to learn any other language besides those languages, and my last language would be Arabic. So that's pretty much that. think like we pay ourselves respect, man, when we honor history in its right fashion, and we don't divvy out to be something that we never were. And that's just an honest way of looking at it. So you look at America, and the reason that we have to learn English is because we have to learn trade languages with the Chinese. Because we're seeing Hispanics come here now, but we haven't done trade really with China yet. We don't know what that experience is like. Right? So, and Mos Def was talking about this on an interview with Hot 97, I think, where he was saying that we just got lazy. We gave our industry away, and nothing is stopping us today. Like he spoke with people at the UN, so he knows like our history and how this entails. All right, so I'm a big proponent of like listening to people who know what they're talking about. All right, so you can judge, like just being like having your chakra purple and you understand what's going on, and you looking at a person first. You size the person up. What is this person? How does this person think? How does they talk? How does their body look? Are they hyper emotional? You can do they cut their hair? Is their hair cut? All right, because I noticed like if you have dreads, you have braids and stuff like that. The way your braids, depending on the way your braids is braided, I know I'm dealing with someone who is hyper emotional, who doesn't respect the fact of who they are. All right, because when you look at our people, most of our sins come from people who barber their own hair, not necessarily go to barbershops. I'm talking about who barber their own hair. The most sense you'll get out of a person is a person who shaves their hair bald. That's America right now. Someone who shaves their hair bald, who has razors. That's a person that you are more inapt to listen to, and you're going to be quiet when they speak. You're not going to listen to someone who is hyper emotional who goes to a barbershop. I don't necessarily cohabitate to people who go to barbershops. When I went to barbershops, I went because my mom made me go. I was 15, maybe 16, 17. I went to the barbershop. When I got older, I started cutting my own hair. So like I know Tariq liked to joke about how people have pushback hairlines. I don't have a pushback hairline, but I do know that people who go to barbershops are hyper emotional. A lot of people are. So like I stay away from that crowd, man. I stay away from people who do the dread thing. Like the most you'll see me go around a person, they have a bald head. It's like them people, they're more disciplined. So you got a little box fade. I see some hair growing out your head where it's like you getting a Caesar. You getting your box shape. Nah, I'm probably not gonna say anything to you. All right. So the most smart people to listen to is people who shave their head and who have a turban on it. So you bald head, you got a turban on it. I may listen to you. You're a Rastafarian, I'm going to listen to you. The other people, I wouldn't listen to them. So I'm going to close out, but you got to understand what Islam means, man. I'm into Hinduism. Like I said in one of my videos, like I study Hinduism. I study Islam because like that's the foundation of this country. To be a Sufi, you have to know. To be a Sufi, you have to know world knowledge. So on that note, I'll close out. You all have a great one, and I will see you on the next one. Yokaki.